Welcome agents. Today I want to touch upon a few things, which includes an NPC buff within the occupied dark zone, all the conflict rewards and what they look like, the Stronghold Rotation Controversy and more. As always, if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button and show your support down below, subscribe for dedicated Division content and turn on notifications. With that said, let's get to it. So first up, and the meat of today's video, it would appear that NPCs within Phase 2 of the PTS have been significantly buffed in the occupied dark zone when clearing landmarks. Now this comes after the nerf to NPCs within hard, challenging and heroic difficulty missions within the LZ. Now this information comes courtesy of Redditor Cracks, who posted recently about Phase 2 builds and the NPC armor health within the occupied dark zone. Now unfortunately I was unable to download the Dropbox files that Cracks actually put on the Reddit post to showcase the changes, or how this is actually looking, because I don't have a Dropbox business account. But the basic premise is, as I said, the devs publicly revealed that the NPCs are being nerfed across the board, but they forgot to mention that NPCs within the occupied dark zone had been significantly made more difficult, whilst the normalized dark zone had remained the same. Now it appears to be a mixture of the best talents being nerfed and NPC scaling to a group, meaning that it's essentially really hard for anyone running as a solo player trying to clear landmarks in the occupied dark zone. So what do you guys think about that? Now we know the devs are looking at decreasing the amount of NPC patrols within the dark zone, so it should only be the landmarks where you will encounter NPCs, but does this mean that the occupied dark zone will become a PvE dark zone and not PvP? If the NPCs are scaled so highly, it does appear that even groups might find this challenging, and it could possibly interrupt a lot of the PvP engagements. So again, is this a bad thing? On one hand, it's probably a good thing for groups at least, because I think being able to kite NPCs and use them to your advantage against other players is part of what makes a dark zone what it is. And also, it's what separates the organised dark zone groups and the less so. If the NPCs just kind of tickled, then it would just be a big gun battle, and whilst there is a little bit of teamwork involved, NPCs would have nothing to do with it, and generally it's just 4v4 and NPCs just sit on the sidelines effectively. So having NPCs hit quite hard means you will have to go about your business tactically, and that will not only create some cool moments, I imagine, but separate the best groups from the worst. On the other hand though, what about solo players? I'm a solo player, and I personally respect that you cannot make everything work for everybody. With that said, if they wanted an alternative or a way to make it so it's easier for solo players, maybe they could add solo queues to the equation. NPCs on those lobbies would be scaled for solo players, and of course people will find a way to join up, but for the sake of giving solo players a chance at clearing landmarks within an occupied dark zone, this might be the best solution. Anyway, I've kind of rambled on about this for too long. Cracks did go on to say within his Reddit post, that 80% of the times that they were playing solo within the occupied dark zone in the PTS, they died whilst doing landmarks, whereas in the live server, they never die basically. This is something they do all of the time. Whether there's any truth to that, I don't know, but you can see the difference here, that NPCs have been significantly buffed within the occupied dark zone, and I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point. Okay, next up, and I've been waiting for all of these to come up. Now if you didn't know, you will get a vanity item every 10 levels you obtain within conflict, so level 10 you get some at level 20, level 30 and so on. Now I'm nowhere near level 99 or 100, which is actually the maximum, but someone has done that and they posted all of the vanity items to Reddit from beginning to end, so here they are. Now this comes courtesy of K Joel, so all credit to this person. Let's just go over these. So level 10 reward, you get the rogue boots. For the level 20 reward, you get the rogue pants. You can kind of see a pattern here. Level 30, you get the rogue shirt. Level 40, you get the rogue scarf. The level 50 reward, you get the rogue shades. Level 60 reward is the rogue bandana. Level 70 reward, you get the major league. And then you get the level 80 reward, which is MVP. Level 90 reward is challenger. And the level 99 reward is conflict trophy. And as you can see, this is level 99 reward, not a level 100. I don't know why they did that. The max level is 100, if you were wondering. None of these are really special or anything, but if you did want to get them all, then you better start grinding conflict, because level 100 will actually take you a very, very long time. So good luck. Moving on, and I've just got a quick overview of how to get the 2 named weapons this week. Now first up, you want to find the Snitch, who as always appears to be just west of the 1040 safe house. Now once you find the Snitch, open up your map and you'll see the Cassie Mendoza icon appear. From what I can tell, it does appear in different places for different people, and it does move. So for me, when I first went there, it was kind of in one place, and then when I went there later, it was somewhere else. So it does move. There is a way around this as well, which I already know. You can join on someone who has already done this, and you can find it that way. But this is the not cheaty way of doing it, the proper way of doing it. Okay, so yeah, the Cassie Mendoza icon will appear on the map. What you want to do is you want to go there, and then you want to interact, and you've got yourself the 2 named weapons. So first, you have the Virginian with the law text saying, "Get the F off my land." That means you now. And this comes from a DC area resident, someone who's clearly not happy at all. Now this is a 1886 rifle with boomerang as the first talent, extra, and then transmission. And I'm going to say with boomerang and the text, that is kind of like what goes around comes around. You know, this DC area resident isn't particularly nice, so, you know, I think that's how it works. And then next up, we have the commander with the law text saying, "Look, I know you're brave, but don't go jumping into a fight naked." Oh wow, okay. And this was said by Cassie Mendoza herself. This is a paratrooper SVD with naked as the first talent, which is fitting, accurate, and stop, drop, and roll. Now personally, I don't think any of these weapons are actually any good, but if you do want to collect them all, have all of the named weapons in your stash, then here they are this week. Next up, and let's talk about the Stronghold Rotation Controversy. I'm not going to spend too long on this one, but for anyone not trying to get all of the pieces of the Nemesis Exotic Sniper, this will likely not bother you, or you may not even notice, but many people trying to get the final part notice that the Capitol Hill Stronghold has, for a 4th week running, I believe, it's either the 3rd or the 4th week running, not been invaded, with most people presuming all of the strongholds were on a weekly rotation. Wrong. They are not. Ubisoft have confirmed these are randomized, with the same stronghold not being invaded twice in a row. So I think the main problem with this is that the Nemesis is kind of tied to this activity. Now I would say that 99% of people who have not attempted to get these parts probably don't care, but to me it just shows another failure on the part of the developers. For many players, this just feels like a pointless, time-gated sort of activity, making us players for longer or play for longer, and with no response yet, you could be waiting a lot longer for this Capitol Hill to become invaded. Now I personally feel the same. Whilst the other exotics require RNG to get, it was kind of a different kind of RNG. For example, the Pestilence drop from the Dark Zone. It was a random drop, so, you know, there is an element of RNG involved, but you could play as much as you want and it would eventually drop. So you had some control. You know, if you put in the time, the chances are you'll get it sooner than someone who doesn't put in the time. You know, there is RNG involved, but it is different. It wasn't, you know, the Pestilence and all these other exotics are not time-gated, but the Nemesis is, because of the fact that you have to have specific strongholds to get the parts that you kind of need. And I think that's the issue here. It's the fact that this does feel as though it is time-gated. Now, with the Nemesis likely getting a nerf in update 3.0, and with this update likely to drop in the next couple of weeks, I think many players deserve the opportunity to acquire this last part and feel the power before nerf day. So let's just hope that in the next rotation, it is Capitol Hill. To be honest, guys, that's pretty much all there is to talk about right now. With State of the Game coming on Wednesday, we should get a good idea on when the raid is likely to be coming. I'm going to assume it's either going to be the 3rd or the 4th week of this month. We should also get to see what changes are being planned for Phase 3 of the PTS, which is the last phase of the PTS, which is why I'm saying 3rd or 4th week of this month. And of course, I'll have you covered on all of that stuff, State of the Game, Phase 3, Raid, any of that sort of stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, I want to say sorry for my little hiatus, but I'm almost another year older, and I took a little break, or I say I took a little break. The Fiance took me somewhere, but I'm back now and I'm on my grind a little bit. I've got a couple of ideas on videos I want to do, but if there's any sort of news that I've missed or anything that you want me to talk about, then just please leave your suggestions down below. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to talk about at the moment because we are waiting for this this update to come out, and then I'll be able to make more videos on like builds and the raid and all of the new stuff to be coming. So there is a lot more stuff to be coming. It's a little bit dry at the moment, but I have a couple of topics I want to talk about possibly. But again, it all depends on what changes with the phase 3 of the PTS or what's looking to be changing as to whether I would talk about that stuff or not. Anyway, guys, I'm just rambling now. Thanks for all your support, and until the next one, Epic out.